Cheers. What up, YouTube? Having a beer for the weekend. Got one can, drank half of it, save the other half for a video. The university hiding the creepiest, darkest little secrets. Sydney Watson.
I'm surprised, but I'm not.
With the recent mass shooting and all this crap in our society, it's overwhelming, YouTube. Take a deep breath. Don't let it overwhelm you. It can't be overwhelming with a society forcibly obsessed with who supports guns, who doesn't, and pronouns.
Hi, my name is Sydney. Welcome back to hell. And of course, as per usual, before we launch in, today's video is sponsored by Blinkist. Now, I will say this from the outset. In order to ensure that YouTube plays nice, and honestly, there's no guarantee that they will, if you notice that I am bleeping out words in this video or saying things in a roundabout, annoying way, please know that it's for the good of the colony. Also know that I hate—
Fuck sickos. I'll be dropping 3 new shirts, possibly 4 on Memorial Day. Hell yeah.
It annoys the living crap out of me, but
including a sicko hunting t-shirt. Yes.
Is unfortunately where censorship has gotten us. Yeah!
Too much censorship sucks. But fuck sickos. Certain words you can't say on YouTube, otherwise they demonetize you. I'm already demonetized on YouTube, so like I said, if you want to contribute to the channel, description box below can help you with that. Check out the soap, coupon code King Cobra. Check out my customized girl t-shirt store, my wands when I sell them, and PayPal and Patreon. Appreciate my fans. Cheers.
Most of you probably know by now, especially if you've been on this channel for any length of time, that there is this very bizarre attack happening on pudding people, and it comes in all shapes.
Don't even get me started, Sydney Watson. When you're born into this world, you're told there are boys and girls. You go to a school where they indoctrinate you, and then they tell you there are 10 million genders. You go home to mommy and daddy crying and confused because it makes your tiny pudding brain hurt. That being said, if you want to teach kids to be accepting of gays and lesbians and trans, fuck sickos, and all that, there's a way to do it with tact and graceful. You just gotta know your audience. Taking grade schoolers to a gay bar to teach them about gay acceptance is crossing the line. There was a school in Florida that did that, and I was just like, straight up like, what? I'm all for teaching kids to be more tolerant, but don't you think taking them to a bar where adults drink is a bit inappropriate? If you thought that was inappropriate, it's about to get worse.
It's the most egregious of this.
Oh my god, this video just made me so depressed. I was like, ugh. Nobody wants to talk about these issues because it makes people angry, depressed, and uncomfortable.
Is trying to cut off their body parts and trying to normalize abusing them. Stop.
Yeah, exactly. For real. Okay, if you are a kid and you believe you're trans, great. More power to you. You want to cross-dress, you want to dress as the opposite gender, go for it. But if you want the full-on trans experience, you should have to wait till you're 18 or older and you've gone through puberty as the gender you were assigned for your personal health. Giving children puberty blockers and then doing the whole trans surgery thing when there's nothing to transition into, they're not adults. You see me? It's you feel me? You see what I'm saying? It's creepy and weird. Between the fucking assholes who are stuffing hormones into our children's food, which are causing children to hit puberty way too early, and then you got these creepy assholes who are forcing the agenda and using their nastiness on this platform to do it. Okay? Is it going to suck that not every kid is going to be tolerant? Yes, but you cannot force kids to accept that there are gays and lesbians and all that. You just can't. You have to let people accept that on their own terms. As long as you ain't a sick fuck, who gives a shit? You know the reference to Pink Floyd? Hey, teacher, leave them kids alone. Back when that song was originally made and written, it was about them olden days where teachers could literally spank their students with like a big ass paddle and shit if they got out of line. These days you can't do that. Now, well, these days the abuse is different. Kids are already growing up confused, and then when they become teenagers, they're even more confused, and then telling them there's 10 million genders is not helping the situation either. In a society that says, if you want to identify as a cell phone emoji, go right ahead. How is that going to work? Because, I mean, like, you become an adult, you know, you wait till you're 19, 20 years old, and you've gone through puberty as the gender you're assigned, so your body doesn't get cancer. Do your research. If you're a dude in high school or a chick and you identify as the opposite gender and you want to wear boys or girls clothes, go right ahead. I think it's stupid to call it boy or girl clothes because it's just fabric, man. But at the same time, it's like, yeah, you know, there's lines that people are trying to cross and it pisses your boy off. 1 second. Sip it. Got some of that G Fuel mixed with that Neo Energy flavoring. I'll do a review on that later, but we're going to mix the two that's in here with the beer in here. Blue Cobra. Look at that. Yes. Mixing G Fuel with your alcohol. Highly recommended if you're 21 and up. Refreshing.
With most things in the modern era, the more you look into it, the worse it gets. So we'll probably come.
Well, my generation, we did get bullied, but we didn't really have online bullying. It wasn't as bad as it is today. When I got bullied, I kicked my bully's ass. I got in trouble and suspended from school, but as long as I didn't start the fight, I never got in trouble at home, personally speaking. And I try not to start fights with people, but there's just something about me that just rubs people the wrong way. Either they dig me or they hate me. It's just like, do I even know you? Like, people are sick and tired of online bullying, and people are sick in the head. And the thing of it is, how do you combat online bullying? You can't. People are going to be jerks whether you want them to or not. So the simple solution, they say, is to just, well, get off of social media. But what if these fucking assholes start targeting you in real life and it gets beyond that point? At that point, those people need serious psychological help. Because how fucking miserable and childish is your life? You're just like, yeah, I don't care if the drama's on the internet. I should, like, totally bring it to the real world because I got nothing better to do. But circling back, that's for a different video. Circling back to this, there are people out there who are into some really nasty shit sexually, and they use the LGBTQ plus platform to justify normalizing that disgusting shit. And, you know what I'm saying? I want to say it real quick. I don't want to say it again. I need a drink. Fuck pedophilia, fuck necrophilia, fuck incest, fuck bestiality, and fuck rape. Those are the forbidden five in my book. And just because Caitlyn Jenner chopped Bruce Jenner's dick off and turned it inside out into essentially a plastic pocket pussy, you know, there is one benefit to having sex with a trans woman. Yeah, what's that, Cobra? She ain't gonna get pregnant. Behave. Oh, watch it, watch it. That kind of inclusive joke might get you in trouble with the YouTube. I supports trans rights. I was just busting some balls, yo. Calm down. Did you really just say busting some balls? You know, like I'm busting your balls. Like only instead of that, you say busting. Like when somebody farts, man, y'all busting grumpies up in this motherfucker. It's like, you're almost 32. Stop trying to talk like you're Gen Z. Gen Z sucks.
Shock to none of you to know that academia also.
You know what the best part about this is, if you're a Gen Z motherfucker who hates the older generation, you think, oh, I'm gonna fix everything that you fucked up. I'm like, good luck with that. Yeah.
Has its fingers in this pie, and some universities have multiple fingers in this pie, and have done for a long time. This is the weirdest analogy. And of course, while the information that we're about to discuss is widely accessible, nobody seems interested in calling attention to it. But maybe
because nobody wants to talk about it. Pedophilia is gross. Sickos are gross. It makes people uncomfortable and just... Ugh. Dude, Ron White said it best. Things that make you go, buh. Because I can't wrap my fucking head around that shit. Babies are the reason why you don't want to have intercourse in the first place. So the fact that there are people out there who are into that shit just... What? That's like getting an STI, you know? Like, you're stuck with it for the rest of your life. Sucks to be you. Captain Hindsight says, should have put a condom on, dumbass.
now, given some recent developments, they should and they will. But first, let me take you on a journey. A few days ago, I came upon an article with a familiar face. It discussed how
a disgraced instructor who called pedophiles minor attracted people hired at Child Safeguarding Center. Okay, so here's the thing of it. Pedophiles think that their shit should be normalized because gays have a thing. I disagree. They are trying to call themselves minor attracted people to make it seem less stigmatizing, and it's fucking retarded. It's stigmatized for a reason, you fucking dumb, nasty cunts. Kids are not mature enough to handle sex. Granted, yes, I did have some really hot of-age teachers growing up, but when I was a kid growing up, I was not mature enough to handle sex. It's the truth. Okay, when you're a horny adolescent in junior high and high school or whatever, versus when you're almost 32-year-old adults, your perspective changes on shit. Does the phrase ever stop and think, they're too old for you? I've had chicks checking me out without even having to smell me. They recognize me off of YouTube and they're like, oh, it's King Cobra JFS, and they're with their mom, and then they don't even have to see or smell me because the soap only works on adult women, but that's beside the point. It's this. Okay, chicks dig facial hair. It's the truth. When you got chicks who are like with their mom, and it's just like the mom's like, he's way too old for you, and then she goes, it's not fair. I'm like, well, when you're 21 and you're single, 21's as low as I go, to be brutally honest with you, because I mean, 18 may be legal, but if you can't take her out for a drink and spoil her rotten and treat her to a good night, wine and fine dine, then what's the point? You gotta show a little bit of class for the ladies, YouTube, huh? You know what I'm saying? Watch out. You just happen, maybe she's a white wine fan, so then you freaking make King Cobra JFS's chicken bacon Alfredo white wine pasta. That shit was so good when I made it. Oh, don't even get me started. Class, dude. You say fuck simp shaming and you continue to be nice to women despite being simp shamed. A little bit of simping goes a long way. Too much simping makes you look desperate. And simping can apply to women too. It would stand for sluts idolizing mediocre penis. That's completely off topic, YouTube, but there is a woman who transitioned into a man who I'm going to call Mr. Walker. I have no respect for this person because they are just the absolute worst. But I'm still going to keep it as formal as I can on a YouTube video. I mean, I'm not going to call them by their first name. They don't have... No, dude. Nope.
Former professor who...
Keep in mind, this is a chick who turned herself into a dude and started advocating for, some Jeffrey Epstein type shit. Oh, God damn it.
defended fans of the
Piss on Jeffrey Epstein's grave.
playground is now working for a child safeguarding center. If you've been paying attention towards...
Can you imagine for 1 second someone who supports pedophilia working for a child safeguarding center? Are you fucking kidding me? That is so fucking gross. I am just speechless. Like, our society is literally crumbling. And no one wants to talk about it. No one wants to say, hey, wait a minute. Just because that person can identify as a tree doesn't mean we're going to normalize your shit, because that's just disgusting. It's fucking sad when you got white people who identify as black, so they inject themselves with melatonin. It's like the ultimate blackface. So let me get this straight. If I paint my face black, start going, yeah, motherfucker, people are going to look at me and go, you're racist for blackfacing. But if you're trans black, you have to accept it, otherwise you're a bigot. Right. Fuck that shit. Or trans disabled. That's right. When people fucking pretend to be bipolar psychotic or have like Tourette's or some shit, and they just do it for attention, and if you call them out on it, they say they're trans disabled, and then you're being a bigot. And I'm like, please refrain from smashing your head into the nearest brick wall, because that's only going to make things worse.
End of 2021, you may remember the person featured in the story,
Blech.
Alan Walker, who came under fire for trying to justify and normalize people attracted to kids. Walker held a position at Old Dominion University in Virginia.
Satanic 11 rules of the earth. Rule number 9 is never hurt small children. There's also a rule that says never give sexual advances unless given the signal. Children are not mature enough to comprehend sex, and they're so innocent and precious to the world. That's why it's fucking disgusting. And people can't seem to comprehend that maybe we're forcing kids to grow up a little too fast, and we need to just, take that dial and turn it down to 0.
And was subsequently let go after the firestorm came about. But now it seems that Walker has been hired by a Johns Hopkins affiliated research center that is designed to protect the pudding people from creepy sexual behavior. You see where I'm going with it?
Yeah, that's disturbing that the Johns Hopkins Children's Medical Center hired Mr. Walker, a known pedophile supporter, to work in their center. Yeah, dude. Why?
Whenever I see things like this, I naturally want to know how on earth this was allowed to happen in the first place.
Kind of like the other day when 18-year-old dickhead, don't even get me started on that mass shooting bullshit. That shit fucking pissed me off, dude. I was so fucking livid. I'm like, the dude literally bought 2 assault rifles within 2 days and like 300 plus rounds of ammunition, and nobody thought, that's an awful lot for such a young man your age. What are you using it for? The zombie apocalypse? Yeah, bullshit! And the fact that the police did not respond to this fucking dickhead the second he threatened to shoot his grandmother. Who? Oh my god, dude, that's just so many. Oh my god. That rant's on my videos. Check it out.
How not one but 2 universities hired somebody like this who holds particularly questionable.
Well, what kind of miserable cunt shoots up a school full of children? That's just beyond fucked. And then you got these assholes who are trying to legalize sex with him on top of it. I've had enough, dude. I've had a fucking enough of this bullshit, dude.
Opinions towards putting people.
It's disgusting that people want to legalize that shit. It's beyond fucking disgusting. I'm so just revolted, dude. That's all I can do from keeping myself from pulling the remainder of my fucking hair out.
Hires them on at a research center aimed at protecting those aforementioned pudding people. Why and how?
Is it part of his therapy? Like, is this fucking bitch chemically castrated so they have no sexual desire? And then I don't see how and why, dude. The look on Sydney Watson's face, like, why?
Was the question. And because you all know I err
I'm not gonna sugarcoat shit. I'm already demonetized. Fuck pedophiles, dude.
the side of negativity, this made me wonder if there's more to this. And there is, as expected. So I thought we could take a look at Johns Hopkins and its creepy little groomy secret. But before you once again...
Yeah, if you want to buy a t-shirt of my customized girl, it says, leave the grooming to your pets and stop grooming kids. It features a unicorn and a rainbow on the back of it that says hashtag fuck sickos, hashtag support LGBTQ plus rights. I'll put that shirt in the description box. It's already there, but I'll put the link to it in the comments below. Because like I said, there are some nasty motherfuckers who support pedophilia, and they try to justify it by saying, well, if the gays can have a thing, and it's a bullshit argument because, like I said, kids are not mature enough. And anybody who disagrees with me needs to get counseling. If you YouTube poop this video, you probably like touching you sick bastard. I'm just saying.
And board my hell gondola and we sit down together to eat some non-creepy pie. Let's hear from today's sponsor, Blinkist. I love the Stoics. And no, that isn't a band, Stephen. They're ancient philosophers. And you know, although Marcus Aurelius is my man, if you don't know who he is, I can't help you. I don't always have time to read his intensely dense writing.
Speaking of writing, it gets to be a point where I'm just like, I take a break from making videos, I work on my story, maybe write a new album, you know? Which helps because this is just depressing and gross.
Obviously, I love reading, but sometimes I feel like I'm being waterboarded with words. Why, Marcus? Why? But this is why Blinkist is great. Blinkist provides 15-minute audio summaries of all sorts of books. It gives you all the key points, lets you...
So what's an I's favorite online reading establishment? I heard it was Blinkist.
at your own pace, and you can even read the summaries if you prefer that over listening. Or if you're super smart, you can do both at once.
Or, you know, download all the Harry Potter books on Blinkist because, hey, I side with J.K. Rowling. Before, let me just say one thing, like quick, like straight up, YouTube. the trans people overreacted to J.K. Rowling's comments on Twitter. So let's break this down for a second. If trans people are sick and tired of people ruining it for their movements, then a bullshit law in Scotland that allows you to identify as trans when you're getting arrested, it gives rapists a loophole. So some miserable fucking cunt in Scotland rapes a bunch of innocent women. And then at the last goddamn second, when this fucking asshole's getting arrested, he identifies as a woman, so he doesn't end up going to a man's prison and getting raped in the ass for what he did to those women. That's pussy shit, dude. So now you have a man who's been convicted and sentenced to jail for raping a bunch of women, but because this fucking asshole abused the politically woke system we live in, identifying as a woman at the last goddamn fucking second, now you have a man in a female prison with his penis intact. Fucker didn't learn a goddamn thing. And if J.K. Rowling bitches about that because she's a woman and she doesn't like the idea of women being raped, or the idea of people taking advantage of the trans community like that, keep in mind Dumbledore is gay, so don't say she's a homophobe or any of that shit, you fucking assholes. But instead of being like, oh hey, you know, maybe J.K. Rowling has got a point to that. Nope. The same assholes who go off and say they're sick and tired of trans people getting bullied Daphne, the trans woman, into committing suicide, doxed J.K. Rowling's fucking address, called her a sissy, and then turn around and say they're sick and tired of people throwing derogatory names at the LGBTQ plus blah 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 community. And then it's just like, and then the cherry on top of the bullshit cake, but we just want to be treated like everyone else. Okay, I support LGBTQ rights as long as you ain't a sick fuck. I honestly don't give a shit, dude.
Blinkist has condensed over 5,000 nonfiction titles in 27.
Dave Chappelle and J.K. Rowling are getting cancel cultured. Bother. Oh, bother. Oh, wabbits. Why do we have cancel culture? I don't know, Pooh, leave me the fuck alone. Oh, bother. This is bullshit. When people from the 60s, 70s to early 2000s are like, wait a minute, Disney owns Star Wars? No! Should I picture goddamn Mickey Mouse with a fucking lightsaber? It's just straight up bzzz. God damn it, Pluto, I swear to fucking God! If you poop or piss in my house one more fucking time, I'm chopping your fucking balls off with this fucking lightsaber, huh? And they say that day forward, Pluto never shit and pissed in the house again.
Different categories like politics, psychology, health, nutrition.
Disney needs to work on hiring people who are not. Yeah, don't even get me started. Circling back to this video.
And think of it as Spark Notes, but shorter.
When you see, like, from 2012 to 2021, the list of people who were arrested at Disney for being fans of the playground, as Sydney Watson would put it, it's creepy as shit, dude. It's like, no, dude.
Spoken. On the app, in the category philosophy, there's an entire section dedicated to Stoicism, which I love, which I highly recommend if you're into mindfulness and killing off your emotions. So if you love expanding your mind or just generally being smarter, then click the link in the description to test out Blinkist for one.
That's right. www.blinkist.com/Sydney Watson
for free. If you love it, which you will, use my code to access 25% off the full premium membership price.
25% off full membership price. That's a pretty good deal to expand your brain, because if knowledge is power.
On May 12th or 13th,
So, Moore Center for Prevention of Child Sexual Abuse at Moore Center _ JHU said they were excited to share that Mr. Walker, PhD, will be joining the Moore Center as a postdoctoral fellow on May 25th, posted on their Twitter page of May 13th, 2022. Jeez. I swear, if I had a ride to the liquor store, I'd get more beer. I don't think one's going to be enough. Just kidding.
my laptop is still on Australian time. The Johns Hopkins affiliated Moore Center announced that Walker would be joining their team as a postdoctoral fellow. Like I mentioned, Walker, a female to male transgender who identifies as non binary.
Wait, so okay, and here's the bit. This is exactly what I'm talking about, dude. This Walker person is a female to male transgender who identifies as a non-binary. And I'm like, wait, if you're non-binary, then you have no gender. So then you cannot identify as a male from female because you would have no gender. See, logically, that doesn't make sense. And then what else would you expect? This fucking piece of shit person is trying to normalize sickos. There's a reason why it's stigmatized, you fucking cunt.
The subject of widespread controversy last year after sitting down for an interview with Prostasia. We've actually talked about Prostasia before on this channel, but for those of you who are unfamiliar, and count your blessings that you are, sorry that I'm about to shatter that for you, Prostasia is effectively an organization that is pro fans of the playground. In the past, they've advocated for legalizing sex dolls that look like pudding people, and
dude, nope.
Compared attraction to children to a sexuality. It's
not.
Still not. Never will be.
No. Okay, to quote Cleveland Brown from Family Guy. No. Damn. Oh, that's nasty. Donna! What, Cleveland? We gotta protect Rollo and Cleveland Jr. and Roberta. There are people out there trying to sexualize kids. It's gross. Now, Dave Chappelle legitimately shares Daphne's story and gets called a fucking transphobe by the same hypocrites who bullied her into committing suicide because Dave Chappelle makes fun of everybody. Dave Chappelle makes fun of white people, and that shit's funny as fuck, dude. Dave Chappelle's cracker skit makes me laugh my ass off. I'm like, what? Again, we want to be treated just like everybody else, but if Dave Chappelle makes fun of us, we're going to cancel him. Meanwhile, Netflix aired that disgusting fucking movie Cuties, and no one said shit. They were just like, I'm like, what? Blech. Which is a movie about how people are overly sexualizing kids, which they shouldn't be doing that in the first place. That shouldn't... What? Why is that a thing? That's gross. Point being, YouTube, if you see Pamela Anderson running down the beach in a one-piece red bathing suit, her tatas bouncing as the waves bounce off her sexy, of-age, womanly, cisgender curves. Right. Sorry about that. Oh, jeez. What? Pamela Anderson's hot. Sue me.
Walker made clear that you...
I know what chicks are gonna... You might have that one chick who hates men who's gonna call me a pig for thinking that women like Katy Perry, Pamela Anderson, Kim Kardashian, Lindsay Lohan, Britney Spears, Kate Upton... There's a lot of smoking hot of-age female celebrities. People are giving me crap about what I said about Lindsay Lohan in the movie Freaky Friday, but to be fair, I was underage when Freaky Friday came out, so screw all of you and fuck pedophiles, dude.
term MAP, or minor attracted person, as they like to be known, is very...
Yeah, no, I'm not gonna call them maps. That's fucking retarded. This is dumb. This is no. Just because this is exactly my fucking point. Okay, I'm not trying to like make the same goddamn I hate sickos video over and over and over and over and over again. Like, welcome to Wyoming. Cobra's just beating a dead horse. I wonder why the horse is dead. Well, welcome to Wyoming. If you spill your beer, we will hang you next to your horse.
Important towards destigmatization. I think it's important to use terminology for groups that members of that...
I think chemical castration and severe mental therapy is the least deadly way of doing it. My personal solution for pedophiles is this thing I like to call a 12 gauge shotgun. It works wonders, YouTube. If you don't want to, like, you know, slugs might be overkill a bit, so buckshot will do just nicely. Oh yeah, 12 gauge is a great way to get rid of pedophilia. Just you know, like Joe Biden famously said, sometimes all you need is a double-barrel shotgun. Chunk, chunk. And when you got your FUD gun, you just like this. Shh. Be very, very quiet. We're hunting for pedos. Ha ha ha.
Group want to...
So, Mr. Walker, as they prefer to be called, fucking nasty cunts, says that people should be considerate for these sickos' feelings, noting that they, them, whoever the fuck thinks it's important to use terminology for groups that members of that group want others to use for them, which works if you're not into that sick shit. How are we having this? This is exhausting. I have friends who are gay. I have friends who are trans. I got friends, and family that I know. Okay, I'm not going to give names, but this is why I'm like, what? There is a big difference between being sexually attracted to your fellow adults versus being sexually attracted to kids. And if you can't distinguish that difference, you're a fucking idiot.
to use for them. Walker also referred to another group.
So just sitting here having a beer, the university hiding the creepiest, darkest little secrets.
Or you act, who is also...
Dude. So this John Hopkins Center for Preventing of Child Abuse hired a female-to-male transitioner who identifies as non-binary, and this same asshole is just outspoken for trying to destigmatize... dude, I'm so disgusted by this crap. I can't fathom, like, there's not enough... If I tried to drink away this crap, I'd be dead of alcohol poisoning before I could make sense of it, to be honest with you. So maybe it's a good thing I don't have enough alcohol to comprehend this bullshit, because even after alcohol poisoning and dying of an alcohol overdose, I still wouldn't be able to comprehend it, and fuck doing that. I'm just being a smartass to prove a point. The pedophilia is gross, man. I hate sickos more than I hate mongooses and my trolls. You know.
They're known for...
I hate sickos more than I hate the Christian Jesus.
Pro-child enthusiast stances and advocacy. MAP advocacy groups like Before You Act have advocated for the use of the term, and they've advocated...
That's like giving yourself a nickname. Hey, douchebags. There's a reason why it's stigmatized, because pedophilia is gross. Enough said. Like, Ugh, dude. So these map assholes have advocated for the use of the term, and they advocate for it primarily because it's less stigmatizing than other terms like pedophile, chomo, or sick fuck, or you know what I'm saying? And I'm like, yeah, but dude, there's a reason why it's stigmatized. Growing up as a kid, I had no, that's just it. Okay. Growing up as a teenager, I had bikini-clad posters like any other normal teenager would. You know, like Miss Hawaiian Tropic International, Miss Marie Patricia or Patrica. Oh my god. Oh, and that fucking red and black. Oh, I can picture it right now. Hold on a second. Yes. And then I found her Facebook page, and I followed her on Facebook because I was like, yeah, there's a difference. Okay, I'm so sick and tired of adults viewing children like tiny adults. Okay, you're disgusting. Adults are okay, get it right. Adults are sometimes overgrown children. Children are children, period. Get it right. Like, people just don't get it, and it's so fucking frustrating. Like, there's a big difference between kids being sexually attracted to the same sex that's their own age, and then their own age and the person they're with is consenting, and it's cute and whatever, you know? Because when you're at that age, you know what it's like. Some of you don't. Don't worry about it, you know? Like, ugh, dude. I don't get how people can be sexually attracted to kids. It blows my fucking mind, dude.
Primarily because it's less stigmatizing. Some things are stigmatized for a reason.
Yeah, that's it. No shit, Sydney. Moment. It's pretty self-explanatory. There's a reason why pedophilia is stigmatized in our society, because kids are not mature enough to handle the emotional and physical attachment that comes when you, no pun intended, have shagnanigans.
Be clear here too that Before You Act's founder was a serial pudding person abuser who explicitly stated he did not want to stop offending towards pudding people, only normalize it.
So an ex-founder? That's just disgusting, dude.
Now Before You Act works alongside numerous universities on their research projects, including, you guessed it, Johns Hopkins. Keep this in your brain hole because it will matter in just a little bit. Walker added that sexuality can be fluid. There are many maps who have a range of attractions to both pudding people and adults. Yeah.
That doesn't make it... No, dude, stop.
Cool. Some people put milk in their bowl before the cereal. Doesn't mean it's right.
Good morning. This is Damon from...
No, there's nothing... Don't try to make it about being fluid or like you're
Las
part
Vegas,
of the
Nevada.
movement. Fuck you, dude.
I want to talk to you for a minute about...
Or norm...
I seriously hope that this Walker person chokes on an AIDS-infested horse dick and dies.
Blasphemy. Like I mentioned, and unsurprisingly, this interview went viral. So too did copies of Walker's PhD dissertation, which quickly began to circulate.
So the Walker asshole has a PhD. What the fuck did she said? Dissertation, thesis, and... Okay, that is a waste of a perfectly good thesis. Oh my fucking god. It just gets worse, dude. Like, this Walker piece of shit person wrote a thesis on why he, she, they, them, fuck you, wants it normalized. Like...
And showed that Walker had entertained theories regarding allowing fans of the playground to access high-quality, inappropriate images of children in the belief that it may reduce offending. Walker has also written a book called A Long Dark Shadow, Minor Attracted People and Their Pursuit of Dignity. Within a month of all of this taking place, Walker had
No. Walker, fuck you to the moon. Isaac Butterfield would say it best. Fuck you to the moon, you sick, disgusting fucking creep. Jesus fucking Christ. No, they should not. They should have access to chemical castration and severe therapy. Ask yourself this. What if it was your own kid? Okay, and if you didn't have a problem with it being your own kid, then you shouldn't have kids, you sick bastard.
From Old Dominion, claiming it was because transphobic people mischaracterized the interview and Walker's previous work. Yeah, I don't think that's what it was, boss. Now, obviously, there are many conversations to be had here about this topic and about Walker, but something that's of great interest to me is how someone who holds these beliefs, who almost has, in a way, an alliance with two equally controversial and infamous and notorious child enthusiast groups, Prostasia and Before You Act, came to be hired at a research center dedicated to safeguarding children. It's worth noting that a week or so after Walker left Old Dominion University, the director of the Moore Center wrote an op-ed for the Washington Post defending Walker. Walker's research falls squarely in the field of child abuse prevention, a field that recognizes the importance of identifying at-risk populations and figuring out how to assist them in leading healthy, non-offending lives.
Okay, so if you want to lead a healthy, non-offending life, then you need to continue to stigmatize it. If you destigmatize it, it's just going to encourage these sickos to keep doing their thing, and it's just going to continue the fucking cycle. You people are fucking... Oh my god, dude. Dude, if I was in Colorado right now, I'd spark up a fat blunt and be like, you believe this shit right now. Oh my god.
Enthusiasts are an at-risk population? Am I getting this right?
How are enthusiasts and at-risk... What? That doesn't make... The look on Sydney's face says it all. Like, what? That doesn't make any sense.
So here you might rightly be wondering, what do all of these obviously shady, creepy sympathizer groups have to do with an anti-child abuse research center associated with and affiliated with the prestigious Johns Hopkins University and Hospital? Why?
You want to end pedophilia? Stop trying to make it a thing like being gay or straight. Stop having sympathy for these fucks. Encourage them to get fucking help. Like...
They not only defend, but also hire someone like Walker. Well, Johns Hopkins has a long history of doing exactly this kind of thing. Some of you might want to strap in for this one. Don't say I didn't warn you. Some of you might remember a video I made some time ago about a young man called David Reimer, who, after a botched circumcision and unbeknownst to him, was raised as a girl, at the instruction of a doctor called John Money. John Money was a sexologist and psychologist from New Zealand who, in a way, I guess, was almost the godfather of the gender identity discussion, and he worked at Johns Hopkins. Now, to start with, Money believed attraction to pudding people was a harmless sexuality, which, when practiced properly, led to the child suffering no harm. Money's theories on the matter...
John Money can fuck off. Like, there are people out there who do, it's not... Oh my god, dude. Yeah.
So sympathetic that his work is still featured on child enthusiast websites such as the North American Man-Boy Love Association.
Yeah.
For a normal person, this is not something that you'd want, to be viewed as sympathetic to the electric chair elite. In 1991, Money was interviewed and featured in a child enthusiast psychology journal called Paydeca.
Stitch Fix. Get pieces that fit you in 3 easy steps. Tell us your style and size.
Paid Sorry, Greek people, I know I'm butchering this, but what do you want from me? Anyway, this is a Greek word meaning boyish, which is also coincidentally used by wood chipper activists to refer to the younger party in an age-inappropriate relationship. In the Paedeke interviews, Money said that he would never report offenders to police, given that he views adult relations with pudding people to be normal and beneficial.
How is it normal? Oh my god, dude, this John Money asshole's a fucking dumb shit.
He said, if I were to see the case of a boy aged 10 or 11 who's intensely erotically attracted toward a man in his 20s or 30s, if the relationship is totally mutual and the bonding is genuinely totally mutual, then I would not call it pathological in any way.
I would say no, 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 no. Hashtag too old for you. No. Stop. I would say John Money can fuck off, is what I would say. If you have a boy age 10 or 11 who's intensely or erotically attracted towards a man in his 20s or 30s, you tell him it's okay to be gay, but he's too old for you and you have to find someone your own age. Why are we having this conversation? It's seriously, dude. Fuck sickos. Why is this? Oh my god.
Needs to stop now.
This sincerely makes me so uncomfortable. While these comments and views are obviously not okay, and there are many more of them, this, believe it or not, pales in comparison to what Money did to David Reimer and his twin brother Brian. Money essentially used the boys as a science experiment to prove that gender is malleable. He used one brother, Brian, as the control. Brian was raised normally, as a boy. And the other twin was raised as...
So this John Money piece of shit did an experiment with two boys. He raised one of them to be a girl and one of them to be a guy. Keep up.
Including being given cross-sex hormones and having his male anatomy removed. The boys were forced to see Money frequently for follow-up assessments. During the assessments, he would subject them both to disturbing experiments. They were forced to replicate sexual intercourse with each other, touch and inspect each other's anatomy, watch inappropriate films together. Money would also show them explicit photos of pudding people and adults in magazines. Sometimes he'd make them do these acts in front of several other adults. Other reports state he'd take photos and videos of the children as they engaged in this behavior. The twins at the time were only 6 years old.
That's
Eventually,
so gross,
after years
dude.
of misery and sadness and never feeling quite right, David confronted his parents and they told him everything. That he wasn't a girl, that he was in fact born as a boy.
What kind of fucking parent would subject their kids to this crap? Some... God damn it, this video fucking... Oh my god, dude. This fucking video has got me so fucking triggered, dude. I can't right now, dude. This is so fucking gross.
And for him, he felt enormous relief. At the time, he was 14 years old. Both boys took their lives in the early 2000s. Their parents say it was because of the trauma inflicted on them by John Money. If you kind of think about it, and Money is actually the godfather of all this gender stuff, then it kind of makes sense why it's gone utter...
It's not gender stuff when you're... Oh my god, there's a... Oh my fucking god. This is what... This is the kind of crap that the radical right likes to use. Oh, it's just gender theory, blah, 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 fucking gay rights, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, there are people out there who are using gender theory and the LGBTQ plus platform to try and normalize some really fucked up shit, and it just gives the radical right an excuse to be homophobic.
Completely off the rails. It was never even on the rails.
No, it wasn't on the rails to begin
with.
No
Although his
shit.
theory about gender being a separate entity to sex was ultimately proven untrue, and despite his abject failure, Money's research is still hailed a success. His findings were used in later studies to justify surgeries on children and are still used today.
Okay, no. You should never do surgery on children unless it is medically necessary. Because children will go through fads. They start identifying as trans because they want attention and they want to be accepted. So what happens then? What happens then when some newer, bigger thing becomes more woke and more progressive? Then the trans will be forgotten to an extent. You're seeing that happen with the gay community.
Gender clinics all over the place, the first of which was established by Money at Johns Hopkins in 1965. Now, Dr. Money was not a good human. I think that much is clear. And yet he found a home, a very comfortable home at Johns Hopkins. But as disturbing as all of this is, Johns Hopkins had another colorful resident by the name of Fred Berlin, who, I don't know, maybe might have even been worse than John Money? I'm not sure. It's hard to say. Berlin, who has been with Johns Hopkins since 1978, was also mentored by John Money in 1975. He founded the Johns Hopkins Sexual Disorders Clinic in 1980 and specializes in the treatment and evaluation of patients with disorders such as pudding people attraction, voyeurism, and exhibitionism. Why do you keep hiring these people? But Berlin, similar to Money, was not...
We have to draw the line, YouTube.
Just floating around at Johns Hopkins.
You want to identify as transgender? That's pushing it, but okay. You start identifying as a different race, a different species, a different tree, as someone who wants, it's just, I don't even want to say it because I'm so exhausted by this topic, dude.
Smelling some flowers, drinking some coffee. No, he needed to make his...
Because I totally get it to some degree. It's different when you're a kid and you're attracted to kids your own age. I get that because I went to school with some really cute chicks
on the world.
who probably grew up to be really fucking hot, but that's beside the point.
1987, Maryland introduced a law requiring physicians to notify police if they were aware a patient had abused a pudding person. This sounds promising. Johns Hopkins worked with Berlin to advance an exemption which would allow him to avoid having to report these patients. This is not promising at all. Berlin issued an internal memorandum recommending that child abusers first report incidents to a lawyer, who could then refer them to the clinic for evaluation. That way, the memo explained,
fuck all that. Straight up, go seek a counselor. If you're having perverse sexual thoughts of people that are way too young for you, then you need psychological help. In my encounters on the internet, I ran into some really creepy, just weird assholes. Fucking Cyrax and this Black Dragon assholes. I'm like, what? I'm just like, what? These people need fucking help, dude.
Of the incident would be protected by the attorney-client privilege of confidentiality.
This is cancer.
I was looking to see if there was a legal way for people who wanted to seek help to come and get it without being prosecuted, Berlin said. He also argued, like many of these people do, that the threat of criminal prosecution keeps fans of the playground from seeking help.
That's fucked, and that's a bullshit excuse. That fearing criminal prosecution keeps people who are into that sick shit from seeking help. That is a bullshit excuse. If you're a decent human being, you'll seek help if you're into that shit, regardless.
Argument won him a temporary exemption from the aforementioned law.
Seeking help for it before you act upon it is a lot better than just doing it and then getting help for it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
exemption proposed by Berlin was specifically for healthcare providers treating this group of people. It allowed them the right to withhold information from law enforcement if an abuser told them they'd harmed a pudding person. Why are these people ever allowed near anyone or anything? Why?
Because the society we live in is fucked up, Sydney Watson.
We send them to their home on Creepy Island. To be fair, Sydney, there was a Creepy People Island. I'm picking up what you're putting down. It rhymed with neck bean. In
Like I said, fuck Jeffrey Epstein.
1992, after so much criticism from child advocates.
Yeah, dude. The director of the clinic for sickos, rapists, and other sexual deviants has moved its outpatient center from Johns Hopkins Hospital to a private office, ending a 12-year relationship during which the professor was repeatedly criticized by child advocacy groups.
Berlin took his clinic for sexual disorders and made it.
Okay, one would argue that preventing these fucks from acting upon their urges is a lot better than just being like, ah. So to some degree, I see what they're saying, but normalizing it isn't going to encourage them to get help. It's just going to encourage people to do fucked up shit, and more kids are going to get hurt, and fuck that shit.
Renaming it and all. Although he did stay on with Johns Hopkins. Now, do you remember how I said we'd come back to you before you act? The organization started by a wood chipper activist? Well, in 2011, Berlin gave a talk at a Before You Act conference. During his talk, Berlin argued in favor of acceptance of and compassion for people who are attracted to minors. He also heavily criticized the necessity of the sex offender registry. Naturally, people reacted angrily.
What?
People who are. Now, do you remember how I said we'd come back to you before you act? The organization started by a wood chipper activist? Well, in 2011, Berlin gave a talk at a Before You Act conference. During his talk, Berlin argued in favor of acceptance of and compassion for people.
Well, fuck Ted Berlin, too, for that matter.
Are attracted to minors. He also heavily criticized the necessity of the sex offender registry.
Bullshit! You do not offer these sickos anything but chemical castration or a shot from a 12 gauge.
People reacted angrily to Berlin's comments, forcing Johns Hopkins to release a statement.
Now, the only reason I don't go around killing pedophiles is because murder is illegal. And just leave it at that.
They decried the
According to this article, misinformation circulating about an individual by the name of Fred Berlin, fuck him, MD, PhD, director of Johns Hopkins Sexual Behavioral Constellation Unit, and his recent participation at a conference in Baltimore, blah.
Misinformation circulating about Fred Berlin and his recent participation at a conference.
As an international expert in sexual disorders, Dr. Berlin speaks routinely at conferences in his role as an individual and as an expert in these matters. In a role, Dr. Berlin speaks for himself and not as a representative of Johns Hopkins. Dr. Berlin is unequivocally opposed to any sexual actions between adults and children. In no way does he support it, allegedly.
As an international expert in sexual disorders, Dr. Berlin speaks routinely at conferences in his role as an individual and as an expert in these matters. In this role, Dr. Berlin speaks for himself and not as a representative of Johns Hopkins. These three people all aligned at.
Okay, if he doesn't like support him, then why the fuck would he go on a speech and say, you gotta give these people blah, 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 compassion and understanding? There is no understanding, sickos. That's an oxymoron if I ever saw one. Okay, if this Ted Berlin fuck doesn't like or doesn't find anything like that attractive, then why the fuck would you be like, why would you go into a conference and be like, hey, you guys, you wouldn't go into a conference saying, shit about people like that getting sympathy and understanding and then turn around and say you're not into it, because that's gonna send people mixed messages. Jesus fucking Christ is a cunt. People are stupid.
Associated with Johns Hopkins, hired on despite the things that they've done and said, are still only 3 people. But I do wonder how many more of them exist in academia, hiding in plain sight. I think it's clear that over the years, plenty of groups and organizations who say that they're for the safeguarding and protection of children have been caught red-handed indicating or outright saying that their intentions are very different. This year, a well-known professor had his research article criticizing prostasia deleted from the British Journal of Sociology and History, after the organization allegedly bullied them into deleting his work. The journal argued the article was defamatory, but the professor, Alaric Norde, said that it merely looked at prostasia's so-called child safeguarding and criticized academics who do not push back against their rhetoric. It makes me wonder why academics either cannot or will not criticize the conduct of questionable organizations that other universities choose to work alongside. More than that, and besides Johns Hopkins, I would like to know who else is doing creepy things behind the scenes. In the end, I genuinely believe in
The people who murdered Chester Bennington, that's who's doing shit like that.
protecting pudding people, but if universities and academics are working,
it's just common morals. You protect children, you protect your elders, you protect women, you respect the dead, you protect animals. Why is this a conversation? It just should be common sense, dude. Just common basic human decency, dude.
Against that end, I strongly believe and strongly think that is something that we all should know. Now, before I open the floor to all of you, this is just a reminder to check out Blinkist using the link in the description. You can try it for free for 1 week, which is super cool, but if you end up loving it, which you probably will, you can also get 25% off the full membership price when you use my code. Now, I open the floor to all of you. What do you all think? Firstly, does this topic make you as uncomfortable as it makes me?
Oh, dude, I'm your typical triggered millennial. This topic had me fucking triggered, Sydney. It went beyond making me feel uncomfortable. I'm just like, what? Ow, my head. Why is this a thing? Stop.
What do you make of the research center hiring Walker and also writing?
I think the research center hiring Walker can fuck off, you nasty fucking hypocrites sitting there saying, oh, you support children being safe, but you're going to hire someone who advocates for the exact opposite? Fuck you.
An op-ed defending the behavior and the things that Walker did and said. What
Fuck you for defending Walker, Johns Hopkins University.
make of Dr. Money and Dr. Berlin, who you guys
Dr. Money and Dr. Berlin can fuck off too.
probably look into a little further. He's got some creepy other things I didn't mention in this video.
No, just fuck him, dude.
Do you think that this isn't actually an issue, that universities are hiding these people? Do you think
the fact that the universities are hiding these people tells you that, they know what they're doing is creepy, wrong, and disturbing, and that they shouldn't be doing it? I mean, for fuck's sake, you're a university. You'd think you'd have a lot more smarts and common sense, but what do I know?
it's not actually a big deal whatsoever, and it's still a very fringe idea, and this is just what academics do. They investigate things. And what you
Yeah, but there's certain things you can investigate it with tact. Like, I get it to some extent. The world's full of curiosities and learning opportunities, but it's just certain subjects you're just like, ugh. So certain things shouldn't be a thing, that's all I'm saying.
generally make of this issue overall?
This issue pisses me off, to be brutally honest. I'm gonna need a smoke after watching this shit.
As always, if you like the video, hit subscribe and the thumbs up button. If you want to leave a comment, feel free to do so. Just be respectful about it. And I will see you guys next time. Shout out to all of you awesome producers from my Subscribe Star. Just want to
Yeah, Sydney Watson, Subscribe Star, Brown Eyed Devil Club.
know that I love you and I appreciate you, and thank you for donating.
There are a lot of YouTubers. If I could afford to do the monthly thing like that, I would, but I'm on a tight budget myself, man. Shit. So, like, that's why I don't beg my fans to give me money on my PayPal, because there are plenty of YouTubers that I'm fans of. So I get it. If you can't, you can't. You can, you can. That being said, thank you for donating to my PayPal this awesome Saturday night, dude. I really appreciate it. I genuinely I really appreciate all the love and support I get from my fans and the fan base that I have. How long is this video? Oh, jeez. An hour long. Video response. Ah! Fuck sickos. I'll catch you later.